Spawning in the top position of Yellow Submarine, he is Cure. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is RAGNAROK. So as I said, there are a lot of opportunities for aggression on this map. Cure's in this. Cure's in this one. See? No, we were just playing. We were just playing a replay of RAGNAROK Cure, RAGNAROK Beyond game. But you know, there's a lot of aggressive opportunities here. We do see that RAGNAROK not going to be going for too many of them. He's just going to go for the hatch first, which is, you know, it's still the first game, so you might still want to kind of poke and prod a little bit. But, yeah, the question is, what is going to be the next choice here for Cure? Double racks? Factory? There, we'll have to see on that. No worries, size matters. Alright, we do see the Reaper going to be coming across the map now. The Reaper, again, it can be a pretty good tool. Some Terran players have decided to kind of skip it these days. No, he's just going to kind of hang around. He's going to be a little bit of a nuisance. I doubt he'll get a drone kill. RAGNAROK is usually on top of his micro in these early game situations. As I say that, all right, Caster's Curse, there you go. And so we do see Cure going to be going for this 3cc build. Now, what this allows him to do is to stay equal with RAGNAROK for a little bit longer. It's a very risky build, as you do open up the possibility for early aggression to hit a little bit harder. But if you can keep that third base rolling, you're just going to be in a fantastic economic position. You're not going to take any damage, and you're going to be able to just consistently push while RAGNAROK is still trying to build up that critical mass of drones, that 70 to 80 worker count that is just so hard to deal with as the later stages of the game roll on. Alright, so nothing really too much else to say here for the time being. We do see Cure going to be trying to jockey for map presence here. This is a really cool move, just using the Hellions to deny the creep spread. We do see Roaches as the primary choice here for RAGNAROK. Hopefully he doesn't... Okay, so, Roaches. But one of the basic things about Roaches is that they're very... as time goes on, they do start to get weaker and weaker versus bio play. But at the same time, what it allows you to do is stay safe so that you can go up to a faster hive tech. You can start to get the Vipers, the Ultralisk, just whatever your Zergy little buggy heart desires. And that's really the big draw to getting roaches this early on. Now we do see is indeed going to be bio, as we see a little bit of a drop going to be coming in. Actually, never mind. This is almost an all-in play here, as RAGNAROK going to start up 22 additional lings. I would like to see that Overlord go a little bit faster here. The Hellions have scouted this, so they need to get home now. It is a little bit late for them, though. The wall has been lifted. The Orbital Command is on location right now, but all the Hellions are dead. This is not good for Cure right now at all. His wall is completely cut down. The Banshees are going to get in here and get a little bit of damage done, but the real story is the Queens just drop right on the high ground. And Cure heavily supply blocked right now. He's waiting for that siege tank so he can get on top of this. I don't know, with his production completely dead, this is going to be a really hard to sell to say that he can come back in this game. Does he have combat shields? He doesn't even have combat shields. It is just pure stim for him now. The Ling is going to be driving on in. Stim is used. He does have some healing energy left in those medevacs, so that is going to be a saving grace, but 24 workers going down. Even if he cleans this up, I don't think there's really going to be that much opportunity for him here. The Biles as well just going to keep these units falling on back down to 29 supply. That is gonna be it. GG is called. Fantastic way to start the series off. RAGNAROK taking advantage of, again, what is a very greedy Terran build there. Just making the perfect moves in order to kind of surround the situation. Now we are going to be heading into Jagannatha for map number 2. So getting kind of the maps that you don't see as much out of the way in this series. Yeah, Jagannatha for map number 2. Let's see how these players can continue on. Without further ado, up here in the top, he is representing a Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He is our blue Terran player, Cure. And his opponent down here representing a different type of dragon for Alpha X. He is RAGNAROK. See, RAGNAROK knows what's up. A lot of Terran players do like to be a little cheddary on this map. There are some good locations for cheese. And so RAGNAROK just going to keep himself safe in that situation. He's not really going for anything too crazy here himself. And Jagannatha, one of the larger maps, if not the largest map in the pool right now. So the pushes are going to be a little bit, I don't want to say slower, but they're not going to be able to reinforce as well. So you do have to be a little bit more careful on where you kind of push into as a Terran player. And creep spread is going to be equally as important for the Zerg because it's going to allow you to defend these pushes much, much easier. But yeah, pretty normal stuff. Nothing too much else to say at this point. Reaper kind of just dancing around, just trying to hang out. He got a couple of lings, which is pretty nice. But the real moneymaker is getting that first creep tumor. But RAGNAROK just gonna play it a little bit safe and say, okay, I'm just gonna get the additional larva up. And now you see he is going up to what can be a pretty fast 3rd CC in this game as well, but it's a little bit safer because he already has his starport on the way. He's going to have Vikings coming on out. And again, with how large a map it is, this isn't really going to be scouted by RAGNAROK for a while now. Sorry about that. And yep, we got Banelings coming on in. RAGNAROK going to get the scout off. He sees the 3rd CC, and that's not necessarily ringing bells in his head just yet. But that does tell him that there's not going to be that many units out for Cure really at this time. So if he wants to go for maybe a little Baneling push, some light North American Zerg pressure, he can. But yeah, I think this Baneling list is more just for safety more than anything else. Good night, Size Matters. Have a good one. Ooh. Okay, so what we do have Cure going for here is a bit of a delayed Hellbat push, as we have that armory going to be coming in. And what delaying it allows you to do is get a couple of additional Hellions in the back. We don't see... I don't think he's going to be adding in the Marines just because the medevacs aren't in the equation just yet, but with Banshees, with a ton of Hellions, this is going to be a very tough hold here for RAGNAROK. He just needs to get those good connections with the Banelings in order to defend. All right, but here we go. The Banelings do get some decent connections on a lot of the Hellbats, weakening them, and there is a lot of transfuse energy here. The Banshee's getting 5 workers in the main base, and they are still kicking. Looks like here did get cleaned up on this side. The Banshee does go down. He's going to be able to clean up the a good chunk of those lings. Overall, I don't think that was the best of trades for Cure overall, but he's still getting more damage done in the main base, getting some additional worker kills. And so yeah, overall, just with the addition of the third base as well, he's not really dropping down his mules. I would like to see him do that. Let's take a look at that income graph. Dropping those mules would take away that little economic lead that RAGNAROK is going for right now. The Queens kind of have to come up to defend. There are no more Banelings with this, so this is going to be tricky to keep this fourth base alive. Good positioning on the Hellbats, just going to make sure that they don't die either. And yeah, it looks like Kier just wants to keep this aggression up. He doesn't want to stop anytime soon. He's got to be careful with how he does that, however. If he would have kept some more of those Hellbats alive, I would say that this push is a great thing, but I mean, there's not really a lot here to kind of hold down the fort as the Hellbats going to take a lot of those Baneling hits. Kier is going to retreat. Now we do have mutas on the way, as well as almost a triple expand here, including the macro hatch in the main. But here we go. The Banelings trying to get those juicy connections, but they will not be able to here. He's just waiting for the additional round of Lings, although as the longer that Kier stays here, the more his position is kind of getting eroded. We do see the reinforcements going to be coming across the map, as well as the mutas. Gonna try and clean up the natural, but there's just way too many Marines back at home. Taking a look at the battle report for the last couple of minutes here, he's already lost 3 of those Mutalisks. It's kind of funny that it doesn't count Stim as an ability used. Now RAGNAROK keeps flying into this army. This is like the worst case scenario for these mutas. And yeah, I think Kier really just cementing himself a huge lead. That Widow Mine. Oh my gosh. All right, so now Kier did go home to kind of lick the wounds. He doesn't want to overextend with this army. RAGNAROK has not been able to kind of build up that Mutaball either. And yeah, Kier, once again, going to be going for this huge push. He's got Thors, he's got Widow Mines, he's got pretty much every single tool that he needs to kind of close this game out. Here we go, Stim keeps stimming forward, wants to save some of the energy in those medevacs. Looks like there was a little bit of a Widow Mine drop somewhere. Sorry for missing that. That killed off 12 workers. But here we go. Again, the creep spread hasn't been really respread here. So that's a bit of an issue for him, as he's not really able to venture too far outside of his base either. But huge Baneling connections right there. Going to make sure that Kier doesn't get too comfortable in this position. The Thor going to go down as well. See that little bit of a parade push across. But RAGNAROK really just firing on all cylinders. And unfortunately, I think he's starting to get some carbon buildup. As the Ling count starting to falter. The Mutas never really able to get up to that critical mass. And Kier up over 30 supply. And there you have it, Cure bringing himself back into a tie series. So a fantastic play there from Cure, really showing the kind of power that, excuse me, showing the power that that 3cc can do if done appropriately. Really just awesome. All right, so now we are going to be hopping into what looks to be Pillars of Gold for our third map. Gotta say, I'm enjoying this series. It's only 2 games in, but we've kind of seen the two different things from both sides, kind of what we would expect from the series. And yeah, I hope it continues as we go on. All right, go has been called. 3, 2, 1. And yeah, remember there are a couple safer bases that you can take as the Zerg player on this map. Obviously, the 6 o'clock position is the best place to go, but you can also get that forward expansion, which will allow you to kind of push very aggressively towards your opponent. We'll have to see what kind of opportunity is going to be afforded to these guys, though, because we are going to be hopping in to game number 3. Check them out. Spawning in the top position of the map, he is Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Cure. And his opponent down here in the bottom for Alpha X is RAGNAROK. And fun fact, these two haven't really played in a series for a little bit. The last time these two played was in the last chance qualifiers. RAGNAROK took down Cure 2-1. So that was that's pretty good. It kind of shows that they are a little bit more evenly matched. Once again, RAGNAROK also just going to play it a little bit safe. He does not want to take any damage to any sort of proxy, so he's just going to scout around, make sure that he is good to go on that front. And I got to say, I don't think Cure is really going to be changing anything up too much for this game. He might be going for that 3cc once again, because he saw how powerful it was in game at number 2. Alright, Reaper gonna be jumping around. Just waiting for the Queen to morph on in. Nothing really too much else to say about that. The Reaper is a pretty big nuisance. for any Zerg or Protoss player to deal with, but it is kind of easily deflected with not that much damage done. And there you go. Once again, 3 CC. The question is, what is he going to do off the back of it? We have seen 2 different attempts to make use of that effectively. The first game, he just tried a big just tried to make a ton of bio. Second game went for the Hellbats. Game number 3, I think he'll have the opportunity for Hellbats once again. I think Hellbats is kind of a good choice because even if they do get cleaned up, again, you are going to be able to stay equal economically, so you're not going to really fall too far behind as you usually would with a Hellbat timing that falters. Actually, not making the Hellions until just now. Interesting. You know, funnily enough, we do see a ton of lings on the production tab as well as that Baneling nest. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's something going to be moving across the map in the form of little green death machines. But it's pretty fun to think that there could be a Baneling, you know, a Baneling bust. We haven't seen one of those in quite a bit of time. Behind this, though, going up to Lair Tech, we do see the Banshee's going to be on the way. No armory just yet, but with how this game is shaping up, I think it's going to be going back into that range. Yeah, from here, nothing really too much else to say. As the Hellions kind of just dive around looking for small bits of openings, we do see him kind of powering up in the back. He's got his additional racks coming on in. And the Banshee's actually going to get on top of the main base here, as the Hellions went home. So far, so good. 7 workers going down, a couple of additional falling before they run out of energy and will back on out. One thing I like with this is he has kept the Hellions alive a lot better than the previous game. So if he does throw down that armory, it's going to be a very committed push, and he can really, really just, the best way to put it is do massive amounts of damage in a short period of time. Alright, there's the armory, so we should be seeing the first big push coming across the map. Here we go. We do have a small little Baneling run by as well. That's why the Hellions are staying home for the meantime. The Banshees getting picked off here. One of them does go down. The other one going to try and head back into the main to try and find a little bit more damage, but this is Cure with a ton of units. If he can find a good location for those siege tanks, that's going to be the best case scenario for him. And there we go. He's going to start this slow leapfrog forward onto the creep. clears up a lot of that, and RAGNAROK actually just going to go for the wraparound here. And never mind, he's going for the counterattack. The Hellions are still at home, keep in mind. Actually, no, they're not, but the reinforcements are here. So RAGNAROK has to be careful not to lose too many of his lings with the counter. And saying that, he did lose all of them. Only really getting about 7 workers. So now Cure is set up in this location where even if he retreats, he does have the siege tanks covering him quite nicely. The Hellbat's going to make sure that those Banelings don't connect with the Marines. Now, this is pretty much a game of time here for RAGNAROK. He needs to buy himself as much time as possible to get the additional Banelings up. He needs to weaken this force quite significantly. Does get another Baneling little run by there. But yeah, now Cure is entrenched in this position. Reinforcements do get cleaned up. So Cure will have to kind of pay attention to that. But I just don't see how RAGNAROK has enough to kind of fix this location. 4th base goes down. Stims on forward, clears up a lot more. This creep, the Hydra's not really in big enough numbers for them to be a threat. And he loses his additional Banelings. Oh, this is as bad as it can get for RAGNAROK right now. Even just coming on in here, he can snipe the tech if he so chooses. There you have it, Cure taking game number 3. So I think in the past couple of games, we've kind of seen how Cure wants to play it out. And I think RAGNAROK's struggling to kind of respond to these very aggressive pushes here. Pretty darn nice, if you ask me. Cast a couple spells while I have the Mullah. And 1 second, guys. Someone is knocking on my floor. Sorry about that. We are going to be hopping into game number 4 on Romanticide. Now, if you thought that there were some good locations to kind of siege up on pillars, Romanticide is kind of the quintessential map for siege tank push timings. And I think RAGNAROK, if he wants to get back into this, he's going to have to get more early damage done and kind of force Cure into those situations where he's going to have to defend quite heavily. But let's introduce our players. Spawning in the top position of Romanticide. Up here, he is Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Cure. And down here in the bottom position for Alpha X, he is RAGNAROK. All right. So, a couple of things that we could be seeing here from Cure. We've already seen the big aggressive pushes. We've already seen him kind of just overwhelm RAGNAROK. But I think in this instance, RAGNAROK might want to start going back into that early game. He wants, like, I just don't see how he could keep playing if he doesn't do so. So far, we're not really seeing too much. It's pretty much the kind of standard stuff here from both sides. I'm not really expecting too much for the next couple of minutes here. It's just going to be the Reaper coming out, diving on top of the hatchery, maybe getting a couple kills here and there. Yeah, neither side really not really cheesing. Alright, so Reaper going to be coming on in. Here's that little bit of a harassment. Now, we also have to keep an eye out. Cure is saving up those minerals. He will have 400, which does tell me that more than likely we are going to be seeing a little bit more of the same as he gets a drone kill there. And yeah, third CC goes down. And so Cure, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, guys. Yeah, we do see the Hellion's going to be coming out. If he can, if he can keep those alive, he's going to be able to keep his push that much stronger here. Remember, Ragnarok has been trying to kind of just aggressively drone up, so he's been kind of baking. Excuse me. He's kind of just making the bare minimum that he needs, and hasn't really worked out for him. Now, that being said, we do have Stim on the way nice and early as well. The third rack should be thrown down any time now as well. And I do like this from Ragnarok. He's trying to go for a bit of a safer location so that he's not cleaned up by the mineral line there, but you still do have these kind of points where you can siege up. Looks like he's actually going to be skipping Banshees as well this time. Maybe going for a much more concerted push timing. As again, he doesn't really have that many Hellions. I'm sorry, this is just like a slightly delayed 2-on-1. That's all this is. I remember now. Alright, so here we go. This is the first big push, and this will tell a lot of how this game is going to go. We do have the upgrades already started here for Ragnarok, so that is a very good kind of indicator that he will be safe. The queen count pretty high, but there's not really that much transfused energy. The Baneling nest is not complete either, so it's just pure Ling Queen. Cure doesn't really have that many Marines left either, so I think the reinforcements, defender's advantage here for Ragnarok is going to be enough. To kind of push this back, but now Cure kind of stuck in this position where he doesn't want to overcommit, but he still has to kind of stay out on the map. Otherwise, you know, Ragnarok is going to kind of just get that explosive energy. he's going to be able to get that creep even far forward than it already is. And by the way, it's pretty far forward. And yeah, here we go. Cure going to be moving out once again. This time with some siege tanks. Hopefully that helps. I do think, though, RAGNAROK has set himself up in a fantastic position. Basically getting those additional upgrades, getting the getting the lair, the Hydra Den, all the right moves for what Cure is going for. So this push, while it is a little bit scary for the meantime, I don't think it's going to get a ton done. It kind of just depends on how close those siege tanks can get to the third. Now the Queen's going to get a pretty good concave here, so the siege tanks not going to be able to get too much damage. They get a huge connection on the Banelings on the other side, but this is still fully cleaned up. A fantastic hold here from RAGNAROK. Cure, though, is not done. He's going to have to be careful not to overextend himself here, as he's going to be behind on upgrades for a little bit. He's, he's not really going to have that many siege tanks if he keeps losing them. If he can focus fire down the Banelings, that would be great as well, but I don't know. Like, again, because he's going to have to, do these slow, leapfrog forward, which will allow RAGNAROK to kind of just jump around, get to these different locations where he can hit his opponent from behind. The backstab just so powerful, and the reinforcement's not going to be able to really help out either. Thank you for the raid, Goddess Alpha. Hope you had a good stream. Right now, RAGNAROK just going to bring some of those lings forward so that he can try and get the full 360 surround. The siege tanks do falter. Cure picks up and gets out of there, but he's still equal in the army supply, which is good. With a Sugoi club. Well, Sugoi. Small little engagements around here, trying to kind of change it up. He went for one big committed push, and but now he needs to kind of try and do this double prong, force RAGNAROK into a position where he can't defend at both locations. But right now, I think RAGNAROK is really hitting that time where he can just pump out as many units as possible and defend every single location at once. As we see Cure getting rebuffed time and time again. Keep in mind the main base is completely open. So if he does decide to go for there, that would be pretty nice. But I digress on that point. As both players starting to max out, we do have a pretty healthy siege tank count now, but the creep is so far forward that you're going to have to fight for miles on the purple carpet. Yeah, this is going to buy RAGNAROK a lot of time to kind of set up his defenses. 30 more links on the production tab. This will allow his Lurker Den to complete as well. We do see a pretty big chunk of his units going for the 360. He's just waiting for Cure to move a little bit too far forward in order to make it work so that he can pick off the reinforcements. But here we go. The forces from the backside, the Banelings not able to get the connections, so that will allow Cure to kind of back up into the Hydralisks. which are very squishy, I might add. So that was not the best engagement for RAGNAROK right now. Oh my god, that was about as bad as it could go for him. His flank absolutely decimated before the main fight even began. His saving grace is that he will get some pretty decent Baneling connections right there, but there is still quite a bit of bio left over. Take a look at that battle. Just look at how it went. He even used the afterburners quite a lot. But now there's not really that much left here. RAGNAROK, all his cylinders have been fired. GG is called, and RAGNAROK does fall. Cure takes it up to match point. Wow, wow, wow. What looked to be a pretty good position there from RAGNAROK, unfortunately just started to falter for him after that engagement. That's kind of the thing with a 360 surround. You do actually, you got to be careful with it. His Banelings weren't able to get the connections that they need, which left all of those Hydralisks in a very uncomfortable position. We were actually going to raid her after the event. Aw. It's alright. Well, I hope you guys had a good stream. Alright, though. Game number 5. We are going to be heading into Oxide. A beautifully simple map. If I can get the scores right, too, that would be awesome. One thing I can get right, let's introduce our players right about now. Spawning up here in the top position, he is looking to close things out, make some noise for our blue Terran phenomenon. He is Cure. And his opponent down here in the bottom. He might be down, but he is nowhere near out. Shoot him your energy. It's RAGNAROK. And yep, indeed, we pick up a lot of people today here at Alpha X. All right, speaking of this game, right now we're nothing too much here. Funnily enough, the one game that RAGNAROK won was his big cheesy opening. He had that really heavy all-in that Cure just wasn't able to really react effectively to, and we haven't seen it since, is the problem here. Like, I think these all-ins, these aggressions, is just really the way to do it versus Cure before he can get up to that perfect army composition and get those really hard to break locales. Now for this game, it looks like it's going to be more of the same. We got the Reaper coming on in. The Ling's going to be popping on out, and the Queen's going to be injecting to their heart's content. So everything is pretty much right with the world here. I'm just waiting for the third base to drop because I'm almost expecting it at this point. All right, so nothing too much else to say here. Obviously, there's that third CC coming on down. That has just done wonders for him. And now the question is, what's he doing here with that racks? Because that is going to slow down any sort of additional production that he wants to do, because he's going to still have to make a reactor. Looks like he's just going to go straight up into Tech Lab instead. Also, GG Gengar. GG, well played with the 1500 mana. Thank you so much. All right, more than likely it's going to be Banshees again. I don't really see it being a Raven. There you go. And from here, I think RAGNAROK has pretty much figured out that it's just continuously going to be these 3 CC openings. So, I just don't know. Like, I've kind of mentioned how he can come back into it, what he needs to do. I just really want to see him kind of pull the trigger and commit to it. But for right now, just a lot more of the same. We got the Baneliness coming down for safety. He's going up to Lair Tech pretty nicely. Looks like making additional tech labs here. That's pretty interesting. I guess that is 4 siege tanks, because he is making a reactor down here, so that does mean that he's going to lift that up and put it there. Kind of strange way to do it, but you know, you do you, Cure. You're literally up 3 games to 1, so you can do pretty much anything you want. You've got that little bit of a buffer. Alright, but here we go. The Banshee going to be coming in, killing off some of that Creep Tumor, just forcing more energy out of these Queens. It's more of a nuisance than anything, because that means there's going to be less transfuses when the fight begins. But now we kind of see that third base getting dropped on down. This is going to be the point where Kyr's just starts to get that explosive energy that we've seen in the past couple of games. He's just going to drop down the additional racks. He's going to be able to pump out 9, 10, 15, 20, 1,000 Marines at a time. And with the addition of those siege tanks, plus the fact that the Hellions are still alive, that's going to be a very scary proposition for RAGNAROK to deal with. And to deal with it, he's actually just going to go straight up to that infestation pit, where he can go up to Hive. Ooh. Not scouted. Alright, so here we go. First big push coming out for Cure. The siege tanks very far forward. They are able to get a couple of connections on the Banelings, but there is still quite a few in the background, forcing Cure to pick up and get out of there. That is going to slow down this push without that bit of an anchor in the back. The Banelings, though, unfortunately not going to be able to morph in here, so that is going to give Cure a little bit of more room to breathe while he's on the purple carpet. And unfortunately, I think RAGNAROK might be taking a little bit too much damage here. He's going to have to wait for the additional links before he really engages on top of this. But the question is, can he reinforce effectively? And it has yet to be seen. His hive about halfway complete. That was his big gambit here, and it's not going to be enough.